Greetings pilot and welcome to The Breach. In today's episode of X4 Foundation 7.0 Beta, we are going to look at crystal mining, because from the last episode it seemed to be more lucrative than looting dropped goods from the Holy Order of the Paranid and the Antigone Republic. So we're going to test that out today. I'll be conducting a 2-hour test, 1 hour in Argon Prime and the other in Grand Exchange 1. I thought I'd also test out the new external flight view. I won't be showing the new controller layout because this was recorded before the beta patch update. To go crystal mining you need a Mark 1 eyeball, the wetware targeting interface and a ship with a gun. Although I do feel I do rather well on spotting crystals, while editing I do spot a hell of a lot that I miss. So I am just scanning the asteroids looking for that glint that represents a crystal. And here we have it, our first catch of the day. That is what crystal mining is all about, those little glints of light. So it does involve some skill and to be an active participant in what you're doing. Once you've found the crystal, you just maneuver around and shoot it with your main gun. It shatters and sends shards into space, which you can then pick up with your magnet. Sometimes your positioning means that the computer will target the crystal you've just managed to acquire. Don't shoot that, just wait until your magnet has dealt with the cargo. As I said, the first hour will be done in Argon Prime. I start off near the Hattic Bar's Choice Gate and just follow the belt of asteroids south towards the second contact 2 gate. Every so often I will turn around and check behind me for any asteroids that have a crystal on the rear side. Nope, can't see anything here. Let's continue. I do approach this asteroid with a little bit too much speed. The mining of these crystals can vary in difficulty because the asteroids can be rotating on all 3 axes. That was the perfect strike. So we now just rinse and repeat this process, giving the old Mark 1 eyeball a little chance to scan the asteroid field. Then we can move on for a little while. Now obviously I know you're not going to sit here for 2 hours and watch me mine for crystals, although that would look really nice on my analytics. I'll compromise and do a little bit of a montage. I hope from that little montage you can see that it was mainly purple crystals that were dropped, and quite a quantity of them at the same time. I'm also not going to montage the full hour either. So after a full hour of collecting crystals, let's see if I can sell them at a good price. Well, the Menelayan crystals can be sold here for 10k each, but not so much on the Bandonite crystals.
Good luck out there.
Passing through Black Hole Sun 5, we'll deploy a satellite. I'll check what price I can get for the crystals on the equipment dock. Over 1,000 each, and I've got 341 of them. Why, yes, I will sell the crystals. So for my hour of collecting crystals in Argon Prime, I earned 484,000 credits.
Good luck out there.
I definitely feel a little more flush now, so I'm going to spend some money on some satellites. So here we are in Grand Exchange 1, which is the home for the player HQ when you play the Terran plot. I've had a little break since flying around Argon Prime for an hour. I've made myself a mug of tea and I'm ready to do some more crystal mining. Hunting for crystals in Grand Exchange is a little bit more difficult than in Argon Prime. In Grand Exchange, the asteroid field is in an amorphous blob, whereas in Argon Prime they're in a nice belt, so it's easy to follow. The general size of the asteroids is also a lot larger, giving more space for the crystals to hide in. To make sure I don't accidentally get turned around while I'm hunting for crystals, I'll often use the autopilot marker so I know in which direction I should be going. Nice yellow agualite crystals. These are worth a lot more than the bandonite crystals we found in Argon Prime. It's a good haul of these crystals as well, which is a great start. Unfortunately, these are the only crystals I found in an hour of searching, which I couldn't believe myself. Here you can see the paths that I've taken to try and find some crystals. But what I have found is a construction vessel, a Taladi Albatross, and I need a construction vessel for my player HQ, so I'm going to hire him. As you can see, the player HQ has managed to purchase some of the wares we need. It has also spent all the money we gave it in the last episode. We now have some money, we can top up the coffers. So I've come to sell the Agilite crystals, all 12 of them, at a unit price of 15k. That gives me 188,000 credits, which is not an insignificant number at the start of the game, but a lot less than I wanted from crystal mining in Grand Exchange. During many of my playthroughs I came to Grand Exchange because this is where your player HQ ended up, and actually doing the crystal run, and I definitely made more money previously. I'm going to have to run this experiment again, aren't I? In Argon Prime I got the value of crystals I expected, but Grand Exchange has let me down, so looks like I'm going to dig out the second pilot again and do another test.
Good profit to you.
So this is the Argon pilot I made for the last episode. All I've done is fly in from Argon Prime to Grand Exchange 1.
Entering Grand Exchange 1.
I'm going to spend 1 hour crystal mining in Grand Exchange, and I'll turn it into a little bit of a montage. I'm going to assume nothing has changed on your end and you don't want to spend an hour watching me crystal mine. Maybe a little bit of music for this montage. Hit it, maestro.
Asteroid. Autopilot engaged. Autopilot disengaged. Asteroid.
There was some Xenon having a barney with some of the local miners. Then he saw my face and disliked it and decided to attack me. I had to make a quick decision between pulling a brave Sir Robin manoeuvre or fighting. He got here that quickly that the choice was taken away from me. And seeing in the last session I did a lot of Sir Robin manoeuvres, it's nice to actually have a little bit of combat. Well, lost all my shields and a little bit of hull damage, but got to set up for the lance manoeuvre now. Hopefully using my lateral thrusters I'll reduce the amount of damage I take on this pass. The Xenon has charged me, so it's my chance to drop in behind him now. I've taken about 15 to 20% hull damage, but in return I've managed to strip the Xenon's shields. I'm now fighting to stay on his tail and allow my shields to recharge for any pass that he manages to make. The Xenon is faster and more manoeuvrable, but he's staying quite close, which is giving me the advantage as I manage to recharge my shields plenty. With him staying close, I'm able to apply enough damage that his shields can't recharge, so I'm just whittling down his hull. I don't actually need to loot, but it's a force of habit at this point. The Argon pilot was recorded after the patch, so I get to use the radial dial menus. Yes, I spotted a crystal without the telltale glint, just via the colour. I think you've seen enough of the montage to understand that I did this experiment correctly and didn't cut any corners. So let's go and see how much I make on this second pilot.
Can I help? Here you go.
I only managed to acquire 173 crystals in Grand Exchange, and the sale price is 191k.
Can I help? Here you go.
I acquired 19 Menelaean crystals this time and get to sell them for 207,000 credits. So my Terran pilot in Argon Prime made 484,000 credits in an hour, and it was a very simple and straightforward collection process. The second hour was rubbish though, and I've gone back and checked the footage and no, I did not see any glints of light for that hour. My Argon pilot made 393,000 credits per hour, but as you'll notice in the run, we didn't pick up any aquilite or any more expensive crystals than the Menelaean ones. I wouldn't recommend just searching for crystals in Grand Exchange. If you were maybe mining and spot a crystal, it's maybe worth picking up that way, but the returns is better in Argon Prime. We'll quickly return to my Terran pilot, the actual focus for this series, because I've done a few things in the background ready for next week's episode. My Terran pilot is at Argon Wharf and awaiting an upgrade. Nothing major, just some more satellites. These upgrades are for my Kukri and not the Kestrel. I went back to Terran space to go and collect my ship. The player HQ has acquired all the wares that it needs to be built except for the silicon carbide. The silicon carbide is being collected by my Kestrel. During the process of exchanging ships, I was attacked by a pirate Kestrel, which I managed to get it to bail and then sold that Kestrel, and I forgot to record any of it. My Terran pilot is now sat on 1.2 million credits, and neither of my ships have undergone any major upgrades other than what you saw in the first episode. So you're now all brought up to speed, ready for next week's episode. Thank you very much for joining me, and as always, I'll see you on the other side.